Hello everybody, Rambling Gamer, coming at you today with my top 5 video games that I would like to see remakes of. Number 5, Final Fantasy. I'm just going to go ahead and say Final Fantasy without adding a number behind it. The general consensus with the Final Fantasy games is that 7 needs the remake the most. Personally, I would like to see 9 remade, it's my favorite. However, instead of just throwing FF9 up as my number 5 entry, I would like to see most of the Final Fantasy games remade. Final Fantasy 3 and 4 had remakes for the Nintendo DS, and they were given updated graphics. The characters did look a little chibi, but the updated graphics were a complete welcomed sight. I did, however, find myself confused as all hell as to why they didn't do this with Final Fantasy 5 and 6. Final Fantasy is one of the most beloved series of all time, and seeing them that they keep shoving these Final Fantasy 4 ports into our faces, it's just like, come on, show the rest of the series some love too. Number 4, Body Harvest. Never heard of it? Not surprising. I am sure you've heard of the video game series that it did help to spawn, though. Yes, it's been commonly stated that without Body Harvest, no GTA 3. Body Harvest was made by the company that would later become Rockstar North. The Nintendo 64 title would feature some sandbox-style gameplay and an open-world video game where you travel and kill giant alien bugs with tanks or airplanes. Anyway, I loved the idea of this. I loved playing this game back on the N64, and seeing as Rockstar is doing all these open world games now, I'm really hoping Body Harvest creeps back up. Especially considering the series obviously isn't entirely dead to them. If you play GTA San Andreas, one of the missions is called Body Harvest in reference to the game. Number 3, Legend of Dragoon. Along with FF9, Legend of Dragoon was one of my very first video games I owned on the PlayStation. And holy shit was this game amazing. The game played very similar to a Final Fantasy game, but the storyline was something that blew me away. And the monster designs have been some of the most memorable I've seen in playing any RPGs. If I ever do a top 5 games I want to see sequels to, this one's going to make that list for sure. Number 2, XCOM, Terror from the Deep. Hot damn, I love me some XCOM. Both the original and the 2012 remake are some of my favorite games ever. Not to mention how awesome Enemy Within has made the 2012 remake, though I guess it can be considered its own game. I don't really know. That's a different video. I can't help but feel like there's so many options with Terror of the Deep. The original Terror from the Deep was nearly an exact clone of the original XCOM game. I mean, really all they did was make some stuff different colors, rename a bunch of stuff, hike up the difficulty, and change the plot. I guess it's more than what they do with the Call of Duty games, but I mean, still, if you've played the first XCOM, you pretty much played a better version of Terror from the Deep. Not to mention all the potential this new game could have. First off, changing the environment from land-based to marine-based could add a lot of epic gameplay options. Like, I don't know, there's something they didn't do in the original Terror from the Deep, but giving the aliens and your units the ability to swim. I mean, adding a third dimension element to the gameplay. I mean, they essentially already had this in the games with like things like the Archangel armor or the flight suit, but I mean, just everything having the ability to swim. I mean, you're in water. Hell, they could even do a little bit more with the storyline. Like, instead of just being an ancient undersea aliens that are attacking everyone, maybe they're flooding the planet too, and all of a sudden your missions are now, you could have these epic underwater city battles. Just a thought. Number 1. Front Mission series. We started with Square and we're ending with Square. Front Mission is one of my favorite video game series. Well, actually, all of these are kind of my favorite video game series, but this one holds a really special place in my heart, which shouldn't be at all surprising since it's a turn based tactical RPG about giant robots that features a large amount of customization and some pretty awesome battles. Unfortunately, outside of Japan, a few of these games haven't come out, specifically 2 and 5. And 2 being the game with the largest battles, and 5 being considered the last true entry in the Front Mission series before it met its end. It would be amazing to see Front Missions 1 through 3 updated with similar graphics to 4 and 5, and then having all of them being released in a high definition bundle game. I mean, even if they didn't do the updates with 1 and 3, I'm very surprised that we haven't seen a game of all these come out bundled up. I mean, that's something Square does a lot, especially with games like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts. I freaking love these games, and if you're just going to kill off the series, you can at least send it out with a bang instead of a fizzle like you did. As always, this is Ramblin' Gamer. Watch out for bears.